I am Jessica Feely. I'm the Government Services Officer. I'm just going to start by reading out the protocols for the meeting. So the protocols for remote hearings: please only speak when invited to by the chair. If you wish to speak, please raise your hand and direct all communications via the chair. Please ensure that your mics are muted when you're not speaking. When speaking, please be succinct and do not exceed the allocated timeframes. If referring to a written submission, please refer to the specific page number in the agenda pack. Any new evidence can only be submitted at the discretion of the chair and agreement with all parties. If you're having technical difficulties, please use the chat function to alert the meeting or dial in using the details in the invitation. Please do not use the chat function for putting formal questions to the subcommittee. Any persistent destructive behaviour will result in removal from the meeting. Once the application has been considered, any remaining parties will be asked to log out of the hearing. Please do so promptly so that the councillors will have an opportunity to deliberate and make a decision. Each party will be notified of the decision within 5 working days. However, if you contact the licensing service, they will be able to give you a decision the following day. Okay, can we please now elect a chair for the meeting?
I nominate Councillor Smith.
Thank you very much, Councillor Lufkin, and welcome everyone to this Licensing Subcommittee A, Tuesday the 25th of October at 7 o'clock. So just before we begin, if we just sort of roll around and introduce ourselves. So I'm Councillor Smith. I'm the Councillor in Stoke Newington Ward and also Chair of Licensing. Councillor Lufkin.
I'm Councillor Richard Lufkin. I represent Shackwell Ward and I'm also the Vice Chair of the Licensing Committee.
Thank you very much. And Suba.
I'm Subhashri Ramana, Principal Licensing Officer, who will be presenting the report.
Mr. Chewett.
Hi, I'm David Chewett. I'm Team Leader for Licensing and Technical Support.
Thank you very much. Amanda.
Good evening, I'm Amanda North. I'm Solicitor supporting members this evening. Thank you. Okay,
we've heard from Jessica, so if we just go through the others, we've got Matthew. If you'd just like to introduce yourself, Matthew.
I am Matthew. I'm one half of Edith Limited with Pappy and Charlie.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much for that. Then we've got Charlie. I think you've just been mentioned.
Charlie, I am the other half of Edith and Carl Limited, presented today for
Okay,
Pappy.
nice to meet you both, Matthew and Charlie. And then we've got Jackie. Do you want to just say who you are, Jackie, very briefly? You're on. I can't hear you. You need to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hi there. Yeah, I'm the owner of a flat literally above this new proposed restaurant bar.
Okay, would that be Jackie and Barry Hollis?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much for that. It's good to know.
Sorry to interrupt, Chair. Would you be able to address the other persons by the numbers on the?
Okay, yes, I can do that. Yeah.
Would you
okay, so you're currently. I'll try my best.
If you can, or just ask them to identify themselves. If you call out the number and ask them to identify themselves, because they should have been familiar with the agenda pack as well.
Okay, well, sorry about that, C8. That's you, Jackie. You're C8. And we've got Luca.
Yeah, I'm Luca, and I'm the secretary of the Warehouse Residents Association, the building where that stay the residents above the commercial premises.
Oh, thank you very much. And Luca, do you want to be referred to as Luca or C4?
As you prefer. Luca is fine, thanks.
Okay. Oh, that's great. And what about you, C8? Would you prefer C8 or your name?
Is that me?
Yeah.
Definitely my name.
Okay, great. That's good. Thank you for the clarification. And now I think we have Anastasia there as well. Sorry, C12. Apologies. So C12 is the one beginning with A. Are you there? Is it okay to refer to this person as their name, just in case they don't hear me?
Actually, our governance officer, could you please confirm if you can identify the relevant other persons on the numbers? Could you assist us?
Yeah, so I believe the one we're talking about is in the call at the moment. She
Right, yeah, that will be assist.
She may be muted at the moment, so that's why he or she's not responding. But
Okay, so anyway, so we've got C12 there.
Chair, if you just remind people to refer to the agenda and that they need to check their representation, which will be in the agenda pack. And it's online as well as if they don't have a hard copy, it's online, so they should be able to see that.
Yeah,
and identify. Is that okay? So in case they're here to make a representation, so and they want to speak.
Thank you very much for that. Okay, so now we've done the introductions. I missed out Mario, who's our technical operator, IT chap. So thank you, Mario, for all you do. So I think now we can crack on with the meeting. So I'll just go through the agenda. The first item of the agenda is the election of chair. C12 sent her apology. She had a bad connection. C12, would you like to introduce yourself now that you've got back? You're on mute, if you can hear me. Maybe you've still got a bad connection. Okay, let's carry on. So item 1, election of chair, that's been done. Item 2 is apologies for absence, and none have been received, so we can move on swiftly to agenda item 3. Do members have any declarations of interest?
None from me.
Okay, thank you very much. Item agenda 4 is minutes of the previous meeting, and there are no minutes for consideration this evening. Item agenda 5 is our hearing procedure. So just very quickly run through the steps. So step 1, introduction of chair. Step 2, the licensing officer will outline the report. Step 3, the applicant will present their case in support of their application. And I believe Matthew or Charlie, are you going to be doing that, or do you have someone to represent you? You guys are going to be doing that. Okay, cool. Yeah, brilliant. And then we have responsible authorities at step 4, and then other persons at step 5. Each of these is 5 minutes, by the way. And I'll be flexible. But if you could try and be within 5 minutes, that'd be great. So step 5, other persons. And then step 6 is a discussion, which goes on for about 15 minutes if necessary. Step 7, closing remarks. Step 8, final clarifications. And then we'll ask all the parties to leave, and then Councillor Lufkin and the officer and I can deliberate the decision, consider the decision. And then obviously you've heard that this decision will be given by phone tomorrow if you phone in, or within 5 working days in a written form. So if we'd like to just crack on, if everyone's happy, just having a quick look to make sure we're all content. Good. Excellent. So if we could just move on then, please, to the licensing officer. Suba, if you would like to outline the report, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So this evening, the application we are going to consider is for a premises license under Section 17 of the Licensing Act 2003 for PAPI 1F Mentimore Ceres to seek permission to authorize the supply of alcohol for consumption on and off the premises from Monday to Sunday, 12 to 2300, as stated within the report. Representations remain from the licensing and other persons. We have received additional information from C4 and C5, and this document has been circulated.
Yep.
And I have nothing else to add. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much indeed. So we'll just move swiftly on, I think, to the applicant's case. And I do have written down, I know I've spoken to Matthew and Charlie about this before, just a bit earlier, but on my notes, it does mention a chap called Ian Crockard, application name Mr. Hassan Sevik. So just to clarify that Ian will not be here tonight. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. In that case, either Matthew or Charlie or both, your time starts now.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I'd just like to start by introducing myself, and then Matthew will introduce himself a little bit. So my name's Charlie Carr. I run my current business, Wingnut Wines, which focuses on organic, underrepresented wines from small producers around Europe and England. Before that, I was working for wine importers, and then before that, hospitality abroad. Wingnut Wines is a company that has always worked with charities and community-based projects. Currently, we're working with a mental health charity. This is something that I want to continue doing with our restaurant. just to outline kind of a little bit about why Matthew and I have decided to open a restaurant and what kind of place we're going to open. So Matthew and I have worked in hospitality for a very long time. Matthew considerably longer than I have. And we've always dreamed of opening a restaurant. This is a self-funded project, something that we've invested heavily in, and something that if we weren't able to open in its current format, we wouldn't be able to open for a very long time again, because we've invested so much in it. A little bit about what Papi is. It is a restaurant that, again, kind of is similar to the projects with Wing Nut Wines, focuses on organic, high-end food and wine. I think we'll talk about this later, but we're not a bar. That's very important. I think that's reflected in the way we've applied for our license. So I think we have here about the table meals or plated food. So there is no service of alcohol without food. We're a high-end restaurant focusing on, as I say, organic wine. I'll just pass over to Matthew now to give him a chance to introduce himself a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. That was 2 minutes. Very good.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Matthew. I'm the chef behind Papi. And yeah, as Charlie's already mentioned, we're coming into the community in the hopes of building a high-end kind of dining experience that's sort of very open to everybody without any sort of issues of classism. And our focus is sustainability, zero waste, championing small producers, involving others in the project along the way. And like Charlie's already mentioned, we've put a lot into this. We've been in the industry I've personally been in the industry for 15 years. I've just had a young daughter. She's 7 months old, and the name Papi reflects through that. I'm going to be bringing her to the nursery just down the road, and I hope that it's a place that she can grow up in as well. And as Charlie's already mentioned, it's not that we're going to be opening a bar, but we're going to be opening a restaurant and just showcasing some really, really nice, small produced food drink in the hope that we can have ourselves a local institution in Hackney.
I just wanted to raise some relevant points here at this juncture. So just with regarding to where we stand with our license, as I understand it, at this point. So with regards to the police, they have agreed to withdraw their objections when we withdrew our non-standard timings. With licensing, I have an email here saying that there was intention to withdraw, but they want to remain. We have a condition here that is regarding plated food. And I just wanted to address some of the concerns for the residents. So we've been in discussion with all the residents at great length.
1 minute.
Sure. We've organised a meeting with a public meeting for them to talk about their concerns. So with their concerns of safety, we have agreed to avoid any gathering on the pavement adjacent to the building. We'll have cameras and metal guards. Noise, and I think this is the main concern. We've agreed to close all the doors and windows after 10 p.m. There'll be no temporary events notices without prior notice for the residents. And we intend to continue to work after this hearing to continue the discussion to avoid any disruption.
Sorry to interrupt. It was not agreed. It was discussed, but nothing was.
Please. You'll get your opportunity to come in, Luca, please. Thank you. Carry on, Charlie.
Sorry, yeah, as I say, we ran out of time. We've had a continuing dialogue with the residents. We ran out of time to conclude our discussions, but this is something that we're going to carry on with the residents after this hearing so that we can open a place that is not only doesn't cause any disruption to the residents, but also is an asset and to the community and the wider Hackney community.
Great, fantastic. That was 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Perfect. You'll have plenty of time to come back, and likewise with you, Luca, as well. Don't worry, you'll have plenty of time. Okay, so let's move on then, unless, of course, Councillor Lufkin has any point of clarification at this point. You're okay, good. Right. So if we could move on now to the responsible authorities, and I believe that's David Chewett from our licensing team. So David, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. So in today's agenda, my representation is at Appendix B. So within that, I just set out not very much. I mean, this site is a particularly is not a particularly large site or anything like that, but it is obviously located below, directly below residential apartments. So I've just got some concerns about proposed activity, which in this case would be alcohol sales, having a negative impact on the promotion of licensing objectives, in particular prevention of public nuisance. This is due to the nature and the character of the surrounding area. So Mentmore Terrace, where it is, generally speaking, is there is some activity there during the daytime, but the ambient noise levels do sort of drop off in the evening. So just a bit concerned about the impacts that this particular proposal could have on that local area. I mentioned also in the representation, if the applicant could demonstrate what the planning history is. I think there are, over the last few years, obviously been changes to the planning use class order, so that has an impact here. But essentially, I'll just some concerns about alcohol sales, those hours, the nature of the premises, and its location directly below residential apartments, which I'm sure the residents, when you get to them, will be able to convey their concerns as well. Thank you, Chair.
Great. I hope Charlie and Matthew just noted what Mr. Chewett just said. Just keep that in the back of your mind when we get on to the discussion. Okay. So any point of clarification, Councillor Lufkin, just being gracious? No. Okay, so now we can move on to other persons. And Amanda.
Sorry, Chair. Just wanted to ask whether you wanted to clarify with Sir Chewett that he still wants condition 33 to be whether or not the applicant is going to agree to that.
Yeah. Did you hear that, Mr. Chewett? Condition 33 about the table service and alcohol.
My understanding, that's been agreed. That is the applicant's offering that as a condition.
Yeah. Charlie?
Yeah, we just wanted clarification just in terms of the wording. So I have your email here. So we were happy to agree with that in principle. We just felt that the phrase substantial meal,
yes,
as everyone understands in COVID, was quite confusing, and we wanted plated food to be put in instead as having more, as being more clear, basically.
I think in my document it doesn't mention substantial meals. I'll read it out to everyone.
Yeah.
Very quickly. Look, I can see you waiting. Alcohol shall not be sold or supplied for consumption on the premises otherwise than to persons who are taking table meals, and that the consumption of alcohol by such persons is ancillary to taking such meals. The supply of alcohol shall be by table service only.
Yes, that's agreed to. That's the word.
Yeah.
So substantial has been taken out of that.
Yeah.
That's right.
So we're happy. We're content with that.
Yeah,
that's good. And then obviously there's another condition, number 9, whilst we're on conditions. Page 28 of my document, the hard document, number 9, which says there shall be no vertical drinking at the premise. Agreed.
Yeah, that's all been agreed. Yeah.
Excellent.
So, as I said,
okay.
So, yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, Luca, it looks like you're keen to come in, so I'm going to take you first. For this section, essentially we've got 5 minutes each, but because there's, I think, 4 of you, I think it is, isn't it? Maybe 3 of you. Anyway, carry on, Luca. Off you go.
Yes, I represent the residents above the premises. We are 30 flats. Around 18 are faces the restaurant premise that they want to license. To be clear, we sent several representation against how this business is proposed. We are not against any business, but we believe the licensable objective are not met. In particular, the problem related to the noise. The gentlemen are marking a red perimeter that extend outside, and it's not just indoor, but is outdoor. Because of how the layout of our building is, they have approximately 90 centimeters that they want to license open air to sell alcohol, basically in front of the public pavement. So for us, this is not at all acceptable. And we believe this cannot be accepted because above this open space, there are 18 flats with balcony and people sleeping. So we request that no outdoor alcohol is consumed or served at any time. Because Mr. Tuit pointed out how Menmore Terrace is in the evening, in the night. To mitigate this, we propose to restrict the business just indoor, keeping the windows closed and running a beautiful restaurant with no alcohol and no food served whatsoever open air. This will mitigate substantially the problem to the community. For what concerns the restaurant itself, the applicant, they propose, and we would like clarification, a ducting that is going right out the main elevation of their premises and is 20 centimeters below 2 flats. Even the best possible duct in the world cannot duct just flower smell, but it will be filtered, of course, but it will be problematic. And we assume also then they will need a planning application to add a ducting into the premises. So first of all, we need to clarify this. Also, the restaurant itself is 20 centimeters to the right of the residential entrance of the building. We had several break-in our building, and because it's 20 centimeters from the building, patrons enter and exit the restaurant that has a capacity of 40 seats. It will be extremely detrimental for the safety of the people, including kids living in the building. We also because of that, we can agree of reducing the hours to 10:30 p.m. and stop the alcohol selling at 9:30 p.m. That match the other restaurants and bar in our close vicinity, such as 21 Seed or the one-star Michelin behind our building. What we cannot understand until now is the approach of the two gentlemen regarding our community. We met indeed, we had a discussion, nothing was agreed.
1 minute.
And they incredibly forgot to mention during the only chat that we had together that the licensable area was also 1 meter outside the premises and so open air. This for us was a sign of bad behavior, completely against the community that we care about very much. And as you can understand, one idea is to propose a restaurant selling with substantial meal indoor and apply for an alcohol license. One other is to apply for an open air alcohol license in front of the public pavement next to the entrance of 30 residential flats with kids and family living. So we believe their approach was completely against our little community in the building.
Okay, great. That's fantastic. Thank you very much, Luca. That was 5 minutes and 5 seconds. That's perfect. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so Jackie, Charlie, you'll come in and allow you to come in a minute.
Okay. Hi. Do you want me to?
So C12, you've got your hand up as well as Jackie. Jackie said she was happy for me to use her name, so that's what I'm doing. But C12A, I can see you've got your hand up, but you will be allowed to come in after Jackie, if that's okay. So Jackie, off you go.
Hi, do I have 5 minutes? I don't know how long I've got.
I'm feeling generous. Why not?
Okay. Well, basically, my apartment is literally on top of the restaurant, and no fault of the guy Charlie, but when we bought the flats, we were told it was office space, and since then they've changed it to having a restaurant. Now, if there's going to be a restaurant, then obviously I'm concerned because my flat's literally on top, and I'm concerned because Charlie, who, when they came to the meeting, they never told us that they were going to have outside tables or outside drinking. They completely said the opposite. So that, to me, I feel like they weren't truthful, and now this worries me because I'm worried what they say and what they do are two different things. I absolutely oppose any drinking or any alcohol or any food outside the premises, because that is going to create noise, it's going to create disruption coming in and out the flats, and it's just unbelievable. It's a quiet residential area, and it's just I just can't even accept, I just don't want to accept that. It's just would be awful for my flat. It'd be awful for the resale value, and to think that there's going to be people sitting outside the flat and my balcony is literally over it is just unbelievably preposterous. So I understand if they're allowed to have a restaurant inside, but I think the doors should be shut. And also, as I've got, I know from other places where friends have homes and there's restaurants, that the licensing hours are reduced to maybe 10:30 at night, which I think is acceptable. And also selling alcohol, obviously much earlier than that, people just to take bottles off the premises. But, obviously I have great concerns, and especially about people sitting outside at night, when in the summer I'm going to open my balcony, my window, I'm going to have all that noise. And I don't know if people are going to be smoking and drinking, and so I don't really have much else to say. But what I am upset about is that when they came to the meeting, they never mentioned that at all. And now they've sprung that on us. And that worries me, that they say one thing and then they go behind our backs and ask for something else. At least be truthful, and then, we can deal with it. But to actually come to a meeting and not even say that, I think is very bad, very bad.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. We've heard you loud and clear there. Likewise, have Matthew and Charlie. Charlie, I can see you've got your hand up. I'm going to wait for the discussion phase, so please hold that thought. And I'd like to go now to C12, and that is the person.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Would you like to be?
Sorry,
do you prefer to be known as C12? Yes.
I'm Anastasia. It's fine. I've got. Can you hear me though? I'm sorry. I'm just literally have to stand still on this spot with the best connection.
Yeah, no, we can hear. We can hear you, Anastasia. Off you go.
My main concern is the fact that you cannot separate the restaurant from the building, and because it is so close to our front door, and it's coming late at night, it makes me feel unsafe, categorically unsafe, because right now there's no reason for anyone to hang out around our front door. But because it's the only covered area on that street, naturally people will be coming there to smoke if it's raining, if it's snowing, whatever, and it will be literally right there. And me coming back home at night or whatever, late evening, or coming back with my kid, it makes me feel categorically unsafe. And I just want to point that out. Of course, the noise is also a concern, but it's also the matter of safety. We had an incident when someone followed a delivery driver into the building and tried all the doors. We had the break-ins in the bike room, which is located on the basement level, and all of that situation we're categorically exposed if there are people standing on the pavement smoking or pretend to be smoking. I think that it's a massive security breach for us, and to be honest, it just makes me feel uncomfortable, and I don't think that's fair. Because there is absolutely no way to separate the entrance to the premises with the front door. It was not built that way. It was built as an office, not as a venue for a restaurant and such.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, thank
great.
you. I think that's my main concern. Obviously, as I said, the noise and everything that Lucas said before, and the an air of deceit is also not very nice. But I'm sorry, I have to probably switch off here. Thank you. For
okay, thank you, Anastasia,
thank
for that. Your comments have been noted. Okay, Charlie, before I bring you in and before we start the discussion, I would like to just give Councillor Lufkin an opportunity to come in with any points of clarification at this stage. Councillor Lufkin? Okay, Charlie, let's start the discussion. We'll start with you, and then we'll just take it from there. We've got 15 minutes for this bit, yeah?
Sure. Okay, well, thank you, Luca and Jackie, for raising your concerns, Anastasia. As I said, this is not the first time we've heard these concerns. I just want to give a little bit of background about how we approach this hearing, because I think it's important to clarify. So this is our first time opening a restaurant. As I say, Ian is a company that helps you get your licenses. You did something you've not done before. So it was something that we were quite new to, and we weren't, I think, had I had my time again, I would have approached this differently, just in terms of reaching out to the community before any licensing application was submitted. Once we read the complaints of the, once they were given to us, the complaints of the residents, we then wrote a letter to the residents explaining the kind of place we wanted to open. We then arranged a meeting to meet with all the residents to hear all their concerns. And then following that, we've then opened a continuous dialogue about these concerns. Now, at this meeting, as Luca said, there was nothing agreed. The conclusion of the meeting was that the residents would put forward some conditions that they would like in the license, and then we could respond to those. So there was, of course, nothing going to be agreed at that time. When they put forward these conditions, we responded to them, explaining that we had this given to us in the landlord. We said there was this space that out front of the building. We were very open about this during this discussion. At the time, this is not obviously something that we're going to do in winter. It's something that we want to have at Saturday and Sunday lunchtime only. There are no concrete plans to have this. This is just something that the landlord has said we're allowed, which is why we put it forward to the residents before this hearing. So we've not sprung, this is not something that they're just hearing about now. They've been aware of this. I think what Luke or Jackie, when did we have this discussion? Was it last Friday?
You never ever mentioned about any outdoor.
When we met, you didn't mention.
Never.
We met to understand your business.
Sorry, I have emails here last Friday talking at great length about this outdoor area.
Charlie, you've never ever mentioned it to me ever, and I've spoken to you on the phone.
No,
and I've
Jackie, I'm sorry. He mentioned after our point of clarification and the request of reduction in time and purposes. You mentioned this, and so we were upset. You didn't mention to us, I'm sorry, the moment that we spent 1 hour all together sit on a table with you to understand the kind of business. So just to clarify, when we schedule a meeting face to face to listen your business, you forgot to mention that you were applying also to sell alcohol outdoor. So this for us was a completely lack of trust in our community. Then after we understood, because we requested several clarification, you pointed out this and we were upset. This is how this subject developed. So please don't turn the cards on the table. About the matter is pretty clear since we met. You didn't mention to us during a meeting that we created to understand what you were doing, and then we discover ourselves, and so we were upset. This is what exactly happened about the subject. That is not the more important subject, but the more important subject is the safety of the people and the family living in the building that you can, I believe, we believe, manage until a certain point. You can manage this until a certain point. I'm sure that you are a good person, but there are other persons that they won't listen all single things that you manage in your restaurant, especially if they are outdoor on the pavement.
Okay, great. Thank you. Charlie, I just want to allow Councillor Lufkin to come in for a second, Charlie. Councillor Lufkin, do you want to come in with some questions, please?
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so first of all, I think we need to clarify this outside space situation. So you are requesting use of the outside space. I mean, I've got to say, I don't see any of it in the documentation that I've been provided, other than the map which shows where the licensable activities are. But I would have expected you to have included that in a representation to this committee, because you know how close the neighbours are. You know, you can see that it's going to cause a problem. Why is it not there? But so you are now saying that.
Councillor Lufkin, can I just stop you there just for 1 second, if that's okay? Just for 1 second. I don't mean to interrupt, really, but I'd just like to ask Mr. Chewett about where we're at with pavement licensing, because I know that the government extended it by 12 months. Is that extension still applicable to us at the moment for pavement licenses? Do you know?
Yeah, so the provisions under the Business and Planning Act were extended until next September, the end of September 2023.
Okay.
But it would, any street furniture out there would require an application to our colleagues in the Shopfront service.
Yeah, okay, great. Hold on, Luca. I would like Councillor Lufkin to finish. Sorry, Councillor Lufkin. I hope that was helpful.
Yeah.
That little bit of legislation there for your question.
Yeah, it's sort of. I mean, so you're now saying that you'd like there to be licensable activity outside, alcohol license to apply outside on Saturday and Sunday lunchtime. That's what can I get that first point as clarity?
Yeah. Charlie.
The second thing is, what is the overall capacity of the restaurant? Because I'd like to license the overall capacity in terms of a total number. And the third thing is off sales. You requested off sales up until closure. Is that going to be? I mean, I don't want to turn it into an off license. So would you be willing to accept a condition on only alcohol sales with only off sales with a meal? And fourthly, you've heard the residents say that there's going to be some of the other restaurants in the area stop serving alcohol before 11 o'clock. How would you be minded to accept that, to bring it in line with other restaurants in the area? I'd also just like to ask Mr. Chewett a further question. So, Mr. Chewett, if this goes ahead, they can just serve alcohol outside, can they, or they have to then apply for a license to do that?
If you're minded to grant the application, looking at the plan, it includes the red line goes slightly beyond the boundary of the building.
If we were to take that off,
yeah, if that was taken off, then if I just go back to the plan, so the plan's within the agenda. It shows the red line going beyond the extent, if you like, of the building. So that and then that's annotated as licensable area. So if that was changed, then it wouldn't be part of the licensed area. So if that red line was moved, let's say, then it wouldn't be part of the licensed area. But
is that a planning issue, Mr. Chewett?
It could be a planning issue, but my understanding of planning would be it's a planning issue if street furniture is outside and it's always outside. If it's moved, then it's not a planning issue, and it's just a pavement license or shop front trading license issue.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chewett. Councillor Lufkin, do you want Charlie to come back now with those answers? Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, Charlie, off you go. Can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, just a little bit of background about this. I mean, I think perhaps this has come as a result of perhaps not fully understanding or perhaps being given bad advice. What I understood previously is what's been discussed here, is that part was the licensed part. The reason why this hasn't come up before is because we were told by the landlord that this is something, this is part of the restaurant, it is a licensed part. You wouldn't need planning. Our furniture is to be taken back inside, so it's bespoke furniture that goes on top, so it wouldn't need planning, all these things. Now, the reason, one of the important things is there is actually no concrete plans to do this. The reason why this is
sorry, I'm going to stop you there. Sorry, I'm going to stop you there. Okay, if we give this go ahead, okay, doesn't matter whether you've got plans or not or whatever, it means that you can do it. Okay, so what you're planning to do, I'm not amazingly interested in. Do you know what I mean? It's that we will, if we grant the license so that it's outside, okay, it means that you or whoever comes along after you can, if in that premises, can then use that part to serve alcohol. Now, you've heard the residents that live directly above you. How do you think, what do you, how, are you wanting to reconsider that?
No, this is, thank you. I mean, as I say, as I think our actions have shown, I mean, I understand that the corrupt, that they feel we've acted dishonestly, but I really feel that we've actually tried to be as transparent with the way we've approached this as possible by arranging this meeting, by discussing all this, by being forthfront with these plans, because as you say, we could have just gone ahead and not told them about this. If this is the different, you know, if this is something that is a really blocking point, we don't need to have that outside space. It's full covers. We will let go of it. We're happy to move everything inside completely. As I say, this is something that we were prepared to agree to prior to this. It's just we couldn't. Matthew and I, obviously, we both work in hospitality. There was no time that we could actually arrange to discuss, and I've got emails that says this, that we actually couldn't. We weren't. It was on Friday afternoon that this discussion happened about this outside space, and we said we couldn't come back with a. I was the one answering the emails. I couldn't give a decision on the behalf of my business partner. So it's something that was definitely open discussion. As I say, Richard, I am happy to go ahead without this outside space. You know, if that is a key issue, that's something, and I want that to be. You know, I as I say, I think it would be a very bad business model that seeks to alienate local residents, and that's something we really, really don't want to do. And as I've said in my emails, which I'm happy to share with anyone, that I apologise that this is the way that this has come across. It was not at all intended to be disingenuous. It was supposed to be. The reason why I was telling you this is, or telling the residents that it was this potential for outside space, is to be forthright and honest about all the licensing activities. So again, I apologize, but I also want to show, you know, through my actions, that this is something that we do want to work with the residents. And if, you know, the outside space, we are happy as not only for licensing purposes, not only with regards to the councillors, but also for the residents. This is something we are happy to let go of in order to heal any upset that's come as a result of
there were a couple of other aspects to Councillor Lufkin's question. One was capacity.
So that's the first thing. So you're prepared to move outside space. Thanks, Councillor Smith. The capacity. What's the total capacity that you're going for?
The capacity is 28 upstairs, and then we have downstairs, which is part of the same license, which is another 14.
Another 14.
1-4. So 28.
38, 45, so 45. Okay, yeah, 45 customers. Yeah. Okay.
Charlie, can you just go through those again? So the downstairs, lower ground floor, how many?
14.
1-4.
1-4, yeah. And then upstairs, 38, did you say?
28.
28.
28.
Yeah.
So, and I think yeah, exactly. So those are the amounts of seats we have. I think just to allow us, currently we have a downstairs that you one of your questions was about off sales.
Yeah, so the next thing was off sales. So I particularly don't want to license and off license. So would you be acceptable of a condition that says you can only buy alcohol to take off the premises if you're a customer of the restaurant, you've bought food there? So we have a condition like that, Amanda, something like that for off sales.
Yeah, I've got to locate it. Yes, it is more or less so that customers can take alcohol, you know, their bottle or buy bottles to take with them, but only if they're a customer.
only for customers, so you can't sell it to people in the street. Is that?
Unless, depending on what their intention was, whether to have.
So, I mean, just to clarify again about the kind of premises we're opening, we're not opening an off license. The sale of off license alcohol will be restricted to fine wine. It allows us.
Yeah, we can't condition.
No, I understand. I understand. I'm just explaining what the kind of place we're opening.
So we have to condition these premises so that in perpetuity we strike a balance between the needs of the operator and the needs of the resident. We can't say you can only sell wine that's
Yeah. No, I know. I understand. I'm just explaining.
So, are you amenable to the condition that you only sell alcohol to people who've been a customer?
Yeah, I mean, what about a condition that it was? I mean, I'm just I don't understand how these conditions work. But what about if it was till 7 p.m? So it's allows us to passive income, so that we can while we're working in the restaurant doing back of house. So would that be possible?
Let me just check. Let's see. So if you can have off sales until 7 p.m, but after 7 p.m, it must be to customers only. It must be to customers at the restaurant only.
Completely happy with that. Yeah. Or we can even go to 5 p.m, whatever, 7 or 5 p.m, whatever's easy.
Okay, let's not leave at this point. We've got the message. Councillor Lufkin, are you happy with that answer?
Just yes. The other thing was the other final point was you've heard from residents that there are other premises in the area, other restaurants in the area that have earlier closing times and alcohol licenses. How would you feel about reducing your hours?
Well, I mean, in the same unit as us, in fact, through the back wall, there's a Finch Cafe, which is literally through the back wall of the restaurant. My understanding is that they have their license till 11 p.m. I've worked there, and that's when they sell alcohol too. So you can check that. I'm not sure, but that's my understanding of it. So
this is not Members Terrace.
So, but it's literally in the same unit block as it's
no, it's not in the same unit. It's another building.
Okay, Suba, can you just check that one? Look, I'm going to bring you in because you've been very patient. Thank you.
Thank you. No, I first of all, I thank you, Mr. Lufkin, for the points. If they remove the outdoor selling of the alcohol is taken from us, if our main problem with the off-premises selling is that, as you are aware, the vicinity with London Fields Park. So it was always a rule of the area to avoid selling alcohol close to the park, because the access from Mentmore Terrace through a couple of underpass to a side entrance of the park is very close, and in our opinion is very dangerous. Obviously, if the applicant accepts the fact to sell a good bottle of wine, so alcohol, to customers, there is no problem, because the customers, they won't go to the park to drink. But if you allow anybody until a certain point to enter and buy alcohol and go out, this will transform the Organics restaurant into almost an off license close to the park. And on this, we are extremely, extremely concerned, because of the vicinity of the premises to the residential area, to the residential entrance is literally 20 centimeters on a covered area. So this is not against the fact to open a business, but to make it right. And I'm sorry to say, Charlie, you demonstrate on this moment that the whole process that you presented to us and to all here is a bit superficial, because we are extremely concerned of our safety, and you show sometime the fact that you didn't thought exactly what you are doing, and we already told you, we tried to help you here, but you show that there is a bit of lack of superficiality in your application, because we don't mess around with the alcohol near the park. This was always our. On top of this, I'm really sorry to say nobody's talking about, but it is really important, Mr. Tuit, the duct of the kitchen below the apartments. It's impossible that this can be done without any sort of application because it's 10 centimeters from the balcony of Mr. Hollis. So, but again, we are determining alcohol license here, so it's another subject, but the alcohol license has to go together with the planning of a machine, something like the ducting system that we don't believe how is managed, but I don't want to stress about this too much. For us, the premises has to be substantial meal on a beautiful restaurant indoor, and we've reduced our matching 21 seed up to 9:30 p.m. Actually, it will be a compromise. Otherwise, we feel that it is too dangerous and too close to the residence entrance.
Okay, thank you, Luca. Matthew, you want to come in? By the way, we've had 20 minutes on this, so Matthew.
Yeah, I completely empathise with the residents' concerns about their safety, and I kind of just want to reiterate the point that we're here for a long time. We fully invest in the idea of adding additional security, i.e., CCTV outside would cover the outside pavement. By being an active premises, it would surely deter dodgy activities. And I guess with the sale of alcohol, we're happy to look at the parameters, but the sale of alcohol, whether it's off-site or on-site, is such a important part of our overall revenue stream in an already incredibly suffering industry. And E5 Bakehouse just down the road sells off-site alcohol, and I think with regards to people going to the park, there's enough off licenses that sell, drinks that you buy from off licenses to go and drink in there.
I agree with you, and this is the problem that we're facing.
We're setting out just to purely open a bottle shop that runs passively in the daytime while we're prepping for our evening services. And I think that essentially without an alcohol license, we lose autonomy over our management of the situation, which is crucial in being able to control who enters the premises, who buys what, and how we actively determine how we want to run our business for the
it's not just about you, it's about whoever will come after you. This has to be clear. It's a license that will remain. So this is a overall problem. It's not against you, Matthew. It's not against you, Charlie. We need to protect because there are 30 flats on top of you. So
thank you, Luca. Charlie. Can't hear you.
Very quickly regarding this ducting outside roof, but basically we've looked into this at great extent to find a system that works. We have confirmation from Hackney Council that the system we use does not require planning and environmental health does not have any issues. It's a reflow system. I have emails that I can send confirming this. So I just wanted to clarify on that issue. Not that
I don't believe so. I'm sorry. I don't believe so. It's too close to the flat.
As I say, I have the emails, so we'll just send them over. These are emails from Hackney.
But this is not the point of the subject. So.
Okay,
anyway,
thank you. Okay, look, we've had quite a long discussion. I've got a few questions myself. 23 minutes on this so far. Suba.
Sorry, Chair, the timings you asked for is for alcohol hours for on sales until 2030, which is 8:30 p.m.
Right, that's the place that Charlie was talking about. Somewhere close by.
Is that Rich Cafe?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that was 10 o'clock, was it?
Sorry, 8:30 p.m. Monday to Sunday.
Okay, 8:30 p.m. Is that on sales?
On sales, that's right.
On sale. Okay, great. To 8:30. Fantastic. Right. Okay, so we've heard a lot of stuff. And thank you, Councillor Lufkin, for investigating the bits that you did. I have a few questions myself. One of them's about planning. Do you know what I know we're not talking about planning, but I'd like to know the kind of the use class that you've currently got on there, so we can add it to our planning informative. Because obviously, if that's not for a restaurant or bar, then it needs to be changed. But just think about that one. Smoking Is there a smoking condition that I've missed in the conditions?
Was
this
your
is some-
question would not allow the smoking outside?
Yeah, this is something we spoke about with the residents, and something that we want to do is not have any smoking outside the residence, but just outside the place and have it over the road by the railway track.
Yeah. Is there a condition in there, Suba, do you know, for smoking?
It's condition number 26.
All right, brilliant. Great. And that says no smoking outdoors, yeah?
It says a maximum of 4 customers shall be allowed to smoke outside in the designated smoking area at any
Right,
time.
I think we want to try and take that away completely. Is that correct, Charlie? That's what you just said, isn't it?
What we wanted to say is yeah, move any people who intend to smoke over the road to by the railway.
Okay, so we can put a condition in that no smoking directly outside the restaurant, yeah?
Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Amanda?
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Or in the vicinity of the residential entrance. This is the overall point.
Yeah. That's a good point, Luca. Did you hear that one, Amanda?
Yeah.
Particularly around the residential entrance.
Or any residential entrance. I don't want to move it over the road if it's going to be in somebody else's.
No,
that's
over the road is a railway. There's a
Okay.
railway.
Mr. Chewett, you had your hand up. Mr. Chewett, did you hear me? We've got somebody trying to join the call actually as well. But Mr. Chewett, did you hear? Yeah.
Sorry, Chair, I couldn't unmute for a sec there. Suba answered the question that I was about to answer, just in relation to the smoking condition.
Oh, okay. And Suba, you want to come in?
Yes, Chair. We have to consider another condition as well, which is 25. The premises license holder shall ensure that any patron smoking outside the premises do not do in any orderly manner and ensure there is no public nuisance. So we might have to delete condition 25 as well. So if you can consider 25 and 26, please. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, so just make sure you note that one, Amanda.
Yeah.
And we've had a Mr. David join the call. You must be David. You're C2. Do you mind us referring to you as David? You're on mute.
David's fine, thank you. Sorry, I've just joined.
Amanda, I just want to clarify, because Mr. Furman's come in late, is he still able to participate in the discussion?
Well, as far as I understand, he would have made a representation, and we have that. So
correct. Yeah.
So,
yeah. David, I'm happy to give you 1 minute because you're late. I think that's fair.
I think he would have been made aware that we can't wait for him, and that when he does attend, or it's at your discretion.
Yeah. David, do you want to come in just with your a minute, maybe a couple of minutes, yeah, of what you want to say?
I mean, it's difficult because I don't know obviously what's already been said, and I've already put it in my email. But the biggest concerns of the residents of the building is clearly in relation to the noise and disturbance outside of the property, from having windows open, and the security risk that it poses having people by the front entrance to the building, which is so close to the proposed restaurants, and then importantly the smell and fumes coming from the extraction, which is only a few centimeters below one of the apartments in the building, which seems unfeasible from my perspective.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Yeah. So back to my questions. We've talked about the outcome of the public meeting, and it just doesn't really appear to be satisfactory for the residents, as far as I'm concerned. We've talked about the capacity. The smoking condition we've talked about, planning we've talked about, condition 33 you're accepting, condition 9 you're accepting. We're going to accept a condition around smoking as well. But just to understand, and then obviously the outdoor stuff, I think it would be my advice to stay clear of the outdoor stuff for the time being. And I think you've made that clear that that's what you're happy to do.
Yeah.
In regards to the off sales, I mean, I agree with Councillor Lufkin that I would prefer it if you just sold bottles to people who were customers. That's my take on it. Now, there's nothing to stop you coming back again when you prove yourselves around these issues to maybe apply for something before 7. But that's just where I'm coming from. Because I tend to agree with Luca that the park is a problem, and there are lots of off licenses around there. But ultimately, what we're trying to do is not add to the sort of cumulative, particularly in the summer. We're quite worried about that. And because I think, from what you say, you're selling kind of fine organic food and fine organic wine. I mean, I presume you'll have some beers maybe in there as well. But you started off your pitch by saying, we're going to be a fine dining kind of organic wine sort of biodynamic establishment. I mean, okay, people might want to drink some stuff like that in the park, but I think if you're selling a nice wine, having a meal, then it is kind of nice if people can, if they like the wine, to buy a bottle.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what we're saying you can do. We'd be happy for that, for you to be able to do that. And what else? Oh yeah, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit, just out of interest, about your sustainability and zero waste ideas. I'm particularly interested in those. If you just want to just expand a little bit, either of you.
Yeah, for myself, in the kitchen, we set to waste nothing. I've spent a good 4 or 5 years working alongside Douglas McMaster, the chief proprietor of Silo in Hackney Wick, and Mr. Lyon, who is a figurehead of the cocktail industry, utilizing all waste products and looking at a closed loop circular economy method of cooking. So you're integrating your waste, upcycling it, and then using it in various applications. It takes away our food waste and turns it into a compost, which is then added back into the small farms that we procure our produce from. So yeah, and everything is fermented in-house. Everything is made in-house. And we're the restaurant industry is in a crisis. There's far too much waste anyway, and we very much want to set out a sustainable blueprint and roadmap our business in the correct way, and how we feel the correct way is to run. And that not only covers just the use of ingredients, but also sustainability with staffing hours and mental health awareness.
Single-use plastics, obviously.
No, we don't do that.
What, you don't do plastics?
Not single-use plastics.
Yeah, good. Okay, Matthew, you did have your hand up before I asked you that question, that you wanted to come back on something.
I did, yeah. It was more about the timing parameter of selling closed bottles of wine off premises, and looking at the arrangement of serving that with foods. Now, the main issue for us is that we don't at all envisage to be open for lunch trades during the week, because we don't have a large kitchen space. We will essentially be prepping in the restaurant, so the customer would come in, see the chefs in action, and go downstairs to the bottle shop, which is essentially just 3 small cupboards caged, and take wine off premises, very much in the same way that on the other side of the park, Noble Wine does, or just around the corner that Bright does during the daytime when they only do lunch at the weekend. So it would be hard to then offer food if we weren't open when people wanted to buy wine in the day. It's going to be such a big part of our revenue stream that will keep us afloat.
Yeah, we've kind of got that, but you need to understand where we're coming from as well, unfortunately, I'm afraid.
Yep.
Luca, you've got your hand up.
No, I actually just wanted to come back for a second on the discussion of the no outdoor, so indoor. On our list proposed to the gentlemen, we said only indoors, window closed. But just because the premises are so close to the entrance that if you stay only indoor with window open, is like to be open air, because the facade is only glass, is only window, is completely glass. So if you open all the glass, you are basically outdoor. So the proposition to mediate was do your business indoor, window closed, the door open and close when patrons go in and out, and you are self-contained. So we kindly request if it becomes an indoor business, that has to be a window closed, because otherwise it doesn't make any difference.
Okay. Just on that point, Charlie, just on those windows, I'm looking at Google Maps now, and I can see there's an overhang there. Is that part of the restaurant as well? There's an overhang at the end of the building. Is that part of the restaurant? That bit?
That as in the windows that Luke was talking about. There's two very small windows measuring about 30 centimeters that open to a width of about 10 centimeters. What
about the main bulk of the windows there that meet the footpath?
Those don't open.
They don't open. Okay. No, and the overhang, there's some windows at the overhang of that. Is that the restaurant there with the overhang?
No, that isn't.
No, the overhang is the residential entrance.
That's the residential entrance. Okay, so is that the residential entrance you're talking about, where the overhang is? Yeah.
Yes.
And you're saying, and the entrance to the restaurant.
You're saying that the people will smoke there because it's covered. So if they go out, they smoke in front of of the entrance of the building that is to the left of the premises.
Yeah, and the entrance to the restaurant essentially is because I can see some wooden doors to the left-hand side by the old industrial building. Is that the entrance to the restaurant?
No, you might be looking at the wrong thing.
No, you're looking at the wrong thing. If you type on Google Map 1G Menmore Terrace, this is the entrance of the residential building.
Okay.
And to the right of the door of the entrance, there is the entrance of the restaurant.
Right, I got you. Okay, brilliant. So that was one point of clarification. I think we need to move off the discussion now, folks. We've had quite a long time on this. Okay, so which means we're moving to closing remarks. So I would like to invite Mr. Tuart to come back with some closing remarks, please.
Thank you, Chair. I've not really got anything to add at this stage. I think the residents who live in the apartment building across have really allayed the concerns, and I guess I share some of those concerns with the close proximity of this particular premises and a proposed activity. So I think if the outside proposed activity, if you are minded to grant this application, without the outside activity, that might go some way to allaying the concerns. But yeah, it's a difficult one just with the fact that this is a new activity directly below residential premises, which is what I'm concerned about.
And Mr. Tuart, what's your take on the off sales discussion that we've had? How do you feel about that?
I can think of examples where restaurants have had conditions attached about off sales being limited to when a takeaway, when it's ancillary or it accompanies a takeaway meal. So that's something that that has been done in the past. So that's not unusual to be attached as a condition.
Okay. Thank you for that, Mr. Tuart. Is that you complete with that? Yeah.
Yes, it is, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Fantastic. So I'd just like to give Luca and Jackie and David an opportunity just to come back with some closing remarks, and then obviously Charlie and Matthew, you can come back with your closing remarks, and then Councillor Lufkin, if you've got anything else to say as well, please put your hand up and I'll bring you in. Otherwise, I'll sum up at the end. Okay, so if we have Luca, if you want to come back, please.
But very quick close remarks. They pointed out Finch has a license until 8:30 p.m. to sell alcohol and is a restaurant cafe. 21 Seed has 8:30 p.m. alcohol license and is next to the premises around the corner. So my point about the reduction in licensing alcohol hours is a match. We kindly ask you not to have outdoor selling of alcohol, so indoor, and the substantial meal for us is a safety net because people is eating and drinking. Other than that, I already said probably too much.
Thank you, Luca. Jackie, you're on mute.
Well, my apartment is literally above the restaurant, so anything that you can do to limit noise and security is helpful to me. I mean, I think taking away their license so they can't sell drink just to people coming and going like an off license to me is number one. Number two is that they can't have anybody sitting outside eating and drinking is also good, and the smoking is also very good. So to be honest with you, I'm happy with what you've talked about, and I'm happy that you seem to have taken some consideration for the residents. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Jackie. And then David, if you want to come back very briefly.
Yeah, I would echo, Luca and Jackie's comments. I don't have anything further particularly, but the key points for us are around the timing of the licensing and the noise outside and disturbance that will cause.
Yes, okay. Sorry, just one other thing, Gilbert, I'm sorry. The other thing is the licensing hours. I definitely think they should be definitely before 10:30, because I think, we're all going to sleep at night, and the earlier the restaurant shuts and people go home, to me is a bonus.
Okay, thank you for that. And before we bring Charlie and Matthew back in, Councillor Lufkin, do you want to come in with any sort of points of clarification, final clarifications that you'd like to talk about? I mean, I think we do need to kind of go back to Charlie and Matthew to establish exactly, where we've got to, guys, with all of this. So, Councillor Lufkin.
Yeah, I mean, I see there being a kind of trade-off between the windows being closed and the hours of the licensing activities. I don't know if we got to a point where Charlie and Matthew agreed that the windows were going to be closed. Is that
they mentioned there's a condition to close them at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, is that okay? So there's a condition to close them at 10 o'clock. Is that the latest that can be, basically? I don't know if that's something that you could address, and then we'll just need to consider what hours and things like that. But yeah. If you could just address the windows and the noise and the licensable hours, that would be very useful.
Thank you, Councillor Lufkin. Before Charlie and Matthew come in, just write these questions down, because you're going to have to come back on some of this. Yeah. So we do need to establish the off-sale situation properly. My suggestion is that you just do it with meals for customers that come in and have a meal. That's my proposition. Think about that. I think Councillor Lufkin, did I see you nodding your head there, or are you?
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay. And then obviously the hours as well, because the residents would like you to consider dropping the hours a bit. Now, the reason why I say this is because you're kind of new to doing the restaurant stuff, and I know it's difficult and painful for you guys, all of this in the current, particularly in the current situation, which we're not allowed to consider economic reasons, but obviously we're here to try and have a kind of thriving economy in Hackney, balancing the needs of residents. If we grant this license to a certain time, like say, for example, around 10:30, right? It gives you an opportunity to kind of establish good practice and to prove how you're operating, and then you could come back a little bit later to extend that to 11 or so. I mean, a lot of the venues around that area, they tend to stop around about 11, and there is a reason for that. So coming back and asking for, say, I don't know, 12, 1, 2, 3, that's going to be tough. That's going to be a tough call. I'm just putting in the picture. So there are a number of questions there that you need to come back with your closing remarks as to how willing you are to accept some of those terms, just to give us a good idea of where when we're deciding what we're about to decide, that we've got all the correct information and you're going to be happy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, just regarding just some general closing comments. It's a real shame that, and on my part, it's a regret that there's clearly some unhappiness on the parts of our residents. This was really never our intention. We wanted to be as open and as forthright as possible. I understand we tried to do that, and I understand their feeling that that's maybe not what has happened, and I apologize. The reason why some of these conditions weren't already in place or already agreed, because we ran out of time. As I say, Friday we were having this discussion. We are happy to take away the outside space. That's something we're happy to do.
Okay.
10:30 timing of the license would we be happy to accept that.
Okay.
With the bottles, with the off license thing only to residents, I mean, I think there's a bit of a misunderstanding about kind of the start of this, and it does feel slightly confusing that there is so many places, and I know you say adding to it, but people who want to drink, they just go somewhere. You know, if there's 10, 11 doesn't make a difference. People are still going to do that activity regardless. But if that is an issue, then I'm happy to start off with only to customers. You know, only to customers with the conditions, and then we can look at that perhaps further down the line when, you know, we are able to show what kind of business we intend to run. I think that's the closing point, that we understand.
The window remains open.
The windows, with the windows, I'm happy to the windows at a certain time.
Okay, what time? Can we say 9 o'clock?
Sorry?
9 o'clock?
9 o'clock, we're happy to close the windows. Now,
Fine, okay.
There's something I would like to point out here, that obviously we have a door that people need to come in and out of.
Yeah.
So this door will open when people come in and out.
Of course.
Yeah. There will be some door, you know, I can't, I think
overnight.
all these conditions need to be enforceable. Otherwise, there's no point to them, and obviously you understand that
The window condition is enforceable. The door will not be left open. It will be used for entrance and exit only, and won't be left open.
Yeah. I just want to be clear that.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
we do realise that people have to get in somehow.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, as I say to David, Luca, Jackie, I apologise if there's any if there's any animosity or hurt feelings. We're going to continue working with you guys.
No, but you didn't work so far with us. I just want to clarify this. You didn't work with us. So if you want to start, is another question.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
so far you didn't. Don't repeat that you were working with us. You didn't work so far. Okay.
I mean, I'd like to say,
I'd
like to
say something
Okay.
that is untrue.
Luca, you've made your point. Thank you very much. You've made your point. We understand, guys. We know the score, right? We want civility, we want respect for everybody, and we want consensual decision making in that community.
I agree.
That's what we're after. You guys realise that. The residents know that. So that's what we're going to try and achieve in the long term. So just to sum up, you're only going to serve off sales to customers. There's going to be no outside activity whatsoever, and you're going to close at 10:30. You're going to prove that you're responsible operators, and you're going to shut the doors and windows at 9 at night. Yeah. Now, once you start getting going and stuff, and we see how it all works, then that's a good place to be, guys. It's a good place to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I know you wanted to say a few other things there. Amanda, you want to come in?
Just to clarify, Chair, you just said close at 10:30. Does that mean close, or does that mean the end of alcohol sales?
End of alcohol sales at 10:30.
Okay. And then closing at 11.
Yeah.
It's a bit too late compared to the business nearby, because we started at 8:30, excuse me, but 10:30 is close of business and 10 is end of sales of alcohol. This will be acceptable, because 11 is as before. Nothing has changed much.
Yeah, no, but the alcohol sales have changed, Luca.
Half an hour, sir. Compared to the Finch Cafe and the Sidwa, that there are the two most similar situation where they sell alcohol until 8:30. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think there's a few other venues around there, Luca, that actually sell to 11.
No.
Is that correct, Suba?
No.
I think that's what we
There are
researched
not
earlier.
one single license of alcohol in Mentmore's Terrace at the moment. No one in the entire street.
Is that correct, Suba? So we're just having a quick check of this one, Luca.
Thank you.
You're on mute. You're on mute, Suba, by the way.
And can I say something or not?
Yep.
Yeah, but if the restaurant, if they stop alcohol at 10:30 and the people are going at 11, by the time people leave, it's going to be 11:30. So it's very late for noise in our residential road, which is very, very quiet.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, how would you feel about stopping alcohol at 10 and shutting at 10:30 then?
I mean, sorry. I mean, it just feels like if there's other, I mean, I'd like to hear the answer on the other licensed restaurants in the areas to see what time they close.
There is no a single restaurant in Menbo Terrace.
I mean, I'd just like to hear what they you know.
Yeah, Subi, do you want to come back on that one, please?
Esther, sorry, I'm looking at the alcohol hours. So we got for on and off, we got till 10:30, 10:40, 10 o'clock.
Is this all a Mentmore Terrace? Is it?
No.
Yeah, and one of them has got till 11 o'clock as well.
Well, Lucas, she's got the one with the licenses, Luca. On the
She's sure about Mentor Terrace because we live here and there are no alcohol.
Well, that's what it says on her consistent. Mr. Stewart.
Sorry, just to come in, it could be a difference between licensed hours and the hours that those businesses actually operate.
Correct.
So, but just going a bit further along Mentmore Terrace, slightly away from this particular site towards, I think it's towards the town hall, effectively. You have places like Rose's Thai, Finch, the other Finch Cafe, E5 Millhouse, Plonk. Oh no, so Plonk's much further up, Freesods Brewery, etc. And then we have a few other off-license fulfillment centres along there. But in terms of actual on sales premises, there are a handful like Rose's Thai,
and they shut around what 10:30 kind of thing. Certainly stop selling around about 10:30, is it? Or
in the case of Rose's Thai, just bear with me a sec. So its opening hours on the license are up to 11 p.m. Friday and Saturday.
Right.
With alcohol sales 10:30 on Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
But as I say, it may close earlier than that. It's just how that particular business operates.
Okay. And any others you can see there whilst you're on the system?
Chair, whilst you're waiting for that, can I make a suggestion? Because I appreciate local residents are concerned because we're talking about Monday to Sunday that they were looking to have these hours until 10:30. Maybe would the applicant consider maybe some of the weekdays to go a bit shorter? And then obviously we accept that Friday and Saturday is obviously an important time and obviously Sundays, but Sunday we want them to obviously try to close a bit earlier as well. But would it be possible between Monday and Wednesday or Monday to Thursday that they could go shorter slightly to help the local residents? Maybe?
Yeah, well, that's a good idea. Thank you for that idea, Amanda. David, sorry, Charlie.
I should add, though, that the premises I'm talking about are located in the railway arches.
Right.
Not in the sort of shared residential block. So, there's some differences there to consider as well.
Okay. Thank you, Amanda, for that suggestion. I think it's a good suggestion. So the proposal would be, if Councillor Lufkin's in agreement, that Monday to Thursday would be
till 10
to 10. Sell the alcohol till 10, and then Friday, Saturday to 10:30, and 10 back to 10 on Sunday. How does that sound, Charlie and Matthew?
Is there any way that we could do 10:30 Thursday, including, and then, I mean, Sunday we're perfectly happy. Monday we're closed anyway. Tuesday we're perfectly happy as well. Thursday, in both our experiences, is just as important as Friday and Saturday.
Sorry. Are you aware, Charlie, that if you keep the window closed all the time, there are no such a discussion on when you close the license of alcohol, but you want to keep the windows open until 9 p.m. If you do an indoor business, there is no noise going outside, and so you have your 10:30 p.m. alcohol license every day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm perfectly happy to do that. I mean, considering that we'll be closed, I mean, we might need to sometimes open the windows in the day, just because we sometimes might need to open the windows.
I don't want that you die inside of the premises. The space is so close to the residential entrance that if you build an indoor restaurant so that the noise doesn't spread outdoor and your customers stay inside having dinner and lunch, I think that we are all in agreement that you can have your license for alcohol up to to 10:30, because in any case, no noise will dissipate to the outside.
Yeah, I mean, Luca, you tell me what time you want me to close the windows. Like, if you're happy with it,
it's not the problem that to close the window, is that the window are closed in your business, except when you change the air or so. Basically, this is the overall point. Because if you open the window, basically you are outside, because the space is all glass. Your front is all glass.
Yeah, Luca,
okay. We do have a condition in there that you will shut the windows and doors at 9, and then the rest of the time, guys, you'll just use your common sense, because we don't want a premises where you're going to suffocate.
So we request at 10 p.m. The license alcohol is 10 p.m. Is no more than 10 p.m. On top of 30 flats is no more than 10 p.m.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Luca. Okay. So, Councillor Lufkin, Charlie's getting back and saying he'd like to go till 10:30 on a Thursday.
I think we can take that to the discussion. Let's take that to the discussion.
Okay, Charlie, we'll take that to discussion.
Sorry, I just want to be clear though with Luca. If he wants to, like, if he's saying we can go till 10:30 another day on all the time, if he wants the windows closed, we're happy to do. I mean, within reason. I don't know what condition we can.
Like 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock or something like that. Luca,
is that okay with you, Luca?
7 o'clock the window, you mean?
Yeah.
The windows,
and then they can go for 10:30 license.
I leave it to you, this discussion. Basically, our point of view remains that nearby, very nearby, the restaurant sees alcohol at 8:30 or 9:30, and you propose 10:30. So let's close at 10, the deal, and everybody will be...
Okay, we'll discuss it. We'll take that to the discussion. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay. So I think we've sort of reached roughly a good compromise. So, Luca, thank you very much. Jackie, thank you very much. David, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Stuart, thank you very much. Matthew and Charlie, thank you very much. Amanda, you want to come in quickly?
Yeah, just double checking then. So are members considering whether or not to have it on Thursday or not? Or is it currently Sunday to Wednesday and closing at 10? Or are you...
We'll consider that in the discussion, Amanda, I think.
Okay.
We'll consider it in the discussion. So
right.
we know where everyone stands, and we will do our best to accommodate you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All the best.
Take
care.
Bye-bye. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.